everyone, and welcome back to part 3 of the Cylon Basestar, where we're going to start working on doing the lights for the windows. Using some LED strips that we're going to put inside there and start jumping and looping them together. So let's go take a look. Well, here we go. I did the gray, and then I did I was going to do a light gray on top, but I forgot that leftover from my Millennium Falcon build, I had a can of Testor's light aircraft gray that I used. It's kind, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a light gray with a little bit of tan in it. And I love it. I think I'm even going to use it on my Star Destroyer because it has a little bit of that off yellow kind of aging tan to the light gray. And I used it on the Falcon and it looked great. It already gave it that weathered look, and then you add your washes and it just highlighted and added all that depth and stuff. So I was like, instead of having to clean my airbrush, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I had this. And that I could just and just spray and splotch just to add a little highlights to it. And then I did a satin clear just to seal it because there still is that water-based craft acrylic underneath that you want to make sure you seal because you're just touching it. The moisture in your hands and stuff will wear it off. I also can see that these are going to have to get filed smooth, so there's going to be some putty work on all these little tabs. That's for sure. I think the rest of it I can get away with, not doing too much. I mean, it's a space station, so it doesn't need to be beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to go in and fix all the little seam work that you see. All that there. I don't think I'm going to go too crazy. On this piece, I got to get rid of these there's little nubs from the mold release, I'm assuming, the way they injected it. But then I'm going to have to see where they lie, and they're going to lie probably right against this rim. I'll drill a hole, and I think I'm just going to stick, I was thinking about using my orange SMDs. I think I'll just go through and use a bunch of red 3mm just sticking up. Yeah. But I ordered a whole bunch of these, and they come in like a bunch of colors. I think it's got red, yellow, blue, green, white. I think got purple. It comes with purple, pink, orange. A whole bunch of them for really cheap. I just hope they're better quality than that. Those work. They did their job, and like I said, I'll just use the yellows for a type of orange, and if I need a greenish yellow, I'll use the green. There is a key point here. It has a little tab, and it goes in that tab. That kind of locates where you need to have that set. But I guess I don't need that on for now. But what I was doing here, what this wire's sticking out here, is to test if I need for these holes in the alley, I guess you would call those some type of little alleyways, or whatever, these trenches here for all the lights we put on the holes we drilled in the side. I want to see if I need a light strip on the bottom part and the light, or just one, and I think one will just work fine. And I did a test, and it worked just fine. It gives you just enough light. It's not ridiculous, especially for the scale. You don't want it to be like high beams coming out of those light ports. Let's see if I can. I can't tell if the light's on. Yeah. And that's Adam Savage doing something. Using his air tools. But as, I don't know if you can see, but that gives me plenty of light. And I just put one little 2-segment strip in there and just taped it so it stays. But you can see it's giving me that light where it's just not ridiculously bright. But it's enough to see. And I went with a warm white. That kind of gives you more of the feel of older school, you know, a model like this back in the day in the 70s and stuff for this actual show would have had a warm light. Just like my Enterprise, the original, the TOS, I'm going to do warm lights. I did warm lights in the, I think I did in the D7s. Yeah, I did warm lights in the D7s. So all those old 61s to simulate the incandescent bulbs that they used, I did the warm lights. You know, I think even the Star Destroyer is going to be warm LEDs. I got a whole coil of it here, the high density, where you get 3 lights per this little segment. Then some of those other segments are like, from other brands, are like this long and only have 3 lights, 3 LEDs spread across that much. Where here you got 3 LEDs spread across that much. And, you know, so you get 6 for what their strips are. So that's good. So it works. It works really well. You know, but more of the modern Enterprises and stuff, probably from the A refit, I did cool white. So from the refit up, it's going to have the cool white. The Annex one, I did cool white because that's the way it looks like on the show. But some of the older ones, they give it that more incandescent, or if you want something to seem a little more warm, I use those for. But hey, I'm happy. So now we can go through here and start cutting 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments. And like I said, I did the 2 segments. There's one segment, there's the other. And as you can see, like LED strips like this, they only give you 3 lights in this space. And that's one segment to them. Here's the same, and that's your main difference between the high density. As you can, I don't know if you can see that, but they're green. That's each LED. That was one I was doing a light test for the D7s. But yeah, look at all that light you get in the same, you know, length of strip. It's so nice. And they're not much more, so it's good to get that instead of getting the regular ones. So, we got one. We got to cut off 4 more. This, I don't remember where I got them, but you get them as a spool. I can't remember exactly the length, but it gives me a lot, if you can see. And what they do is it's something you're supposed to plug a 9 or 12 volt power supply into. So it'll give you one of these ends with the 2.1 millimeter end on it, soldered right onto it. So you're supposed to just roll it out and be able to plug it in, and boom, now you have LED, you know. But I just buy it like that, cut that end off. I keep it because I can use it for one of my models like those, and it works great. But so we need to cut 4 more dual segments. So we got 1, 2. Make sure we go 2 segments. 3. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's number 5. And it don't matter because we got to do 5 for the bottom anyway. So even if we cut an extra. And that's that. Beautiful. So this does have an arrow molded in here to show for that single one, and that's kind of nice because it shows you a good point. start with. You know where you're at. So what we're going to do, and my cat went and opened the door on me, so the TV is going to be ultra loud. So we're going to put this one right on that. And I'll probably hit some type of glue on there because I never trust this, even if it's 3M tape. I never quite trust that it's going to stay. It's not going to uncoil. And then you have lights just floating around in there. And really quick, I'm going to pause so I can turn the TV down because my cat's going to want to keep coming in and out. So, one moment. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, but certain episodes will be louder, and it's bad enough I got weed whacking going on over there, so, but I want some fresh air in the house too. Although it's getting a little chilly with the wind, that's why I have my flannel on, but let's keep trucking along. If you ever have problems like getting this part off of that covers the sticky part, you just take a knife and you can kind of, I find that works really good. Another thing I like to do, it's not crucial because it is marked on what's positive and negative, I still sometimes like to keep them all the same. Let's try to keep them kind of parallel too. That one I can't go up very far, but it don't matter if some are dim, like the window that's way up there. You know, here most of them are down here because I tried to make them different, like so it's not all lights all the way. Sometimes there's none down here and some more up here, and vice versa. You want to try to put that randomness in. But yeah, this is I found this strip here is actually not too bad. You can kind of get it with your finger, but I always find just a razor blade and you just kind of hit at that corner and boom, it'll pull apart, and that makes it so much faster. I used to pull my hair out trying to get those things to work. And what I'm doing here to leave these ones with a post, I'll put it right up against. And I can still get my wires in there to loop them. And I'm thinking I can loop right across the top here, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do here to block the blue light so it doesn't bleed into the rest of this. I think I'm going to take silver tape and wrap it around, clean out the holes somehow. Clean out the holes because it needs to be, what, 2 millimeters I think, or 2 centimeters. So if I cut a strip 2 centimeters and go around, that'll help block that. And then I might even stick some silvery spots on this side to help reflect light back that way. But I don't know, I might not have to, and plus I don't want too much reflecting at these seams because try to minimize light leaking here would be nice. But let's keep trucking. But yeah, I'm keeping the positive on this one side. That way I always know, I don't even have to think about it, that when I'm looking at it from this point, soldering it on the right, it's going to be the positive. It just kind of helps you're not, oops, accidentally put the wrong wire the wrong way. And it also helps that, you know, I like things to look neat inside the model too, even though it's never going to be seen again. But we are seeing it now, so. And this one I can keep this wire on. Well, I might unsolder and resolder the shorter ones. But we did our test. We can get these off. But I'm thinking I can use this thin wire and jump across. Because if you see these here, these little circles, they're raised and they're on the same on the other side, yet it still fits tight. So I have at least double that, which this wire is fine to go through. And that way I stay out of this area, because I think this is going to, you know, only have to come up and feed one. I'll probably bring power in, feed the blues, and then jump over to one of those. Because this is all going to go on one time. I thought maybe having the blues, the blue, maybe even the lights on the top, a different switch. But, you know, and then you can just have it with just the lights and the trenches on. But I'm not sure. I think I don't want to really do a switch. I want to see if I can make the original base work and sneak wires in that base, because I can always putty them in. We'll worry about that later. If not, I'll just go buy a nice wooden base from Hobby Lobbies, and I got plenty of rods, and we'll do it that way. That's not crucial, because that's all can be done at least before I close the bottom up, because if I have a wire coming through, it won't work very well. But I am rambling. I'm trying to keep these a little more focused, these video clips. I do like, you know, my purpose of doing this is to show a lot of stuff, so there will be a lot of times where it's just boring me doing stuff over and, you know, and talking and brainstorming out loud. Because I do that anyway, even if I'm not on camera. Which certain people do make fun of me for doing. You're always talking to yourself. Alright, so that should be about there. Yeah, so this window lighting worked way nicer, just to think of it as like I'm doing a saucer on a Star Trek model or something. Works great. Now we just got to daisy chain them together, and then we'll figure out which one's going to get fed. But I think we'll daisy chain the tops, and then one gets fed from the bottom, instead of having to keep looping around. The less mess I have down here, and like I said, I think all this will fit, because you got that raised area. So, what we'll do, another thing I usually use dabs of super glue, but what else I'm finding that works pretty good is the extra thin quick set. If I get a little bit down under there, it's not as messy as super glue. It dries quick, so it doesn't want to attack. The LEDs. I know it might sound and feel a little silly doing that, but first I get a good tack, and it's not, you know, there's some plastics in these, the makings of these strips, so I don't want to melt them too much that it ruins the board, the circuits that go through to connect each LED through the strip itself. But, you know, this tape's on there pretty good. Yeah, that's on there good, and I think that's one I did already. And this stuff will flow right in and underneath. Whew. But boy, I still have trouble with the... There we go. This stuff's a little different. But so, and the reason I wanted to unsolder this one, because I didn't really do a good job. I just quick tacked it on there. I would like to get this a little neater. I'm not going to go as far as shrink tube in any of it. I think we're we're okay in that aspect. But at least now I can tin it, and then I can trim them just to fit on those pads, contact pads. Not too much. I don't like a lot of wire going on these LED strips. I've seen them short out just going up and touching the side of the LED. Now, I know some people get a little worry about soldering an LED strip on top of plastic, but this is extremely thick plastic, and I have this gun so hot, nice and hot, that it makes things melt real quick, so that's less time that I actually have to spend on the actual contacts, like actually down on it. I can just pretty much, boom, that's done. And this plastic's so thick that it doesn't even hurt it. So as long as you're not like in a thin plastic that's smooth, you should be all right. And I should be able to do all that, and we can jump it right to that one, and she should still close. And we can tack it in spots. Like I'll probably tack it down on these and let it sit freely in that. But what I should do is go through, to make life a lot easier, is tin all these contacts first. I'm starting to think I want a wireless solder gun, one of those USB ones. Like I can see that one starting to do a little weird heating of the soldering on that. It's going to become a spaghetti mess. Should have done this first. Yeah, I can stick it up there. And the other thing is, if you tin things and you can actually touch the solder or the gun and the solder to the thing at the same time, it works so much better. You really don't have to touch very long. So now we just make our lengths. Come over there. I can leave a little extra case. Snip. Now with this thin wire that has the black and the red, let's get rid of this one. That has the black and the red already molded, kind of together. I find it's best to just strip them while they're together. Then what I do is I bring my little pad over, if I can get it to reach. And I just cut in between them just a little bit. You don't have to do much. You just got to score it. And what I do is I take that and I push the black and the red away, so I can actually grab my stubby fingers, and then you just pull. And then where's my? And I use this. And I can tin those real quick. And what we can do is jump to this one, and we can jump off of this one over top to this one, and then jump to that. We can keep doing, loop-de-loops. So I actually should have thought about that and tinned these sides too. I got to think of what's going to be my starter, and I should go with the one with the arrow, which is this one, which we will mark. So no, a starter point. I'll just make a little red arrow there. That's my starter point, because I think that's probably where I'm going to... We'll make that the first one in the loop. How about that? So we will... I guess all of them, except for the very last one, is going to get power. And I have still decided the main power coming up. Is it going to hit this, or it's going to hit that? Or what I think we're going to go to the blues. Come off the blues, go to this. And then off one of these to this top. So like I said, I want to block these spots here. Not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to run that silver tape there. And hopefully that'll stay. But that stuff usually sticks really good. And then maybe put a little bit on top. Or cut a styrene in a circle and glue it down. But then I'd have to grind these down. Just a little bit. Let's just keep trucking here. Now that I decided I'm going to loop it. Because I could loop and then tie 2 wires here and loop. 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 Instead of it going through. Would that be easier? Yeah, because it'll be one solder. Or I could have made these jumper at the lower part. Would it be a shorter wire? Save some wire? Yeah, actually it would. Yeah, so I think this one we're going to jump this way. But the others we're going to jump across. I don't know. It's 6 1/2 dozen the other, how you want to do it. Yeah, how do I want to do that? I think we'll keep trucking around the outside. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I hope I have enough of this wire, but I have other wire, but this is nice and thin. And then I'm not doing like I just told you guys. Go in here and it separates them. I will do one this way, and then one this way, and then this one this way. Alright, if this one's going this way, then this one's going here, that one's going there, and this one can go here. I should have planed this out better. Here, and that one there. I think that would be the better, because I want to start this one out with a little, just one little quick thing. I want to take this one to there. Oh, I could have just swung that over. Duh. Swung that one over. Just not thinking today, folks. Boonk, boonk. Pull it around this post, just to make sure. Make sure your solder points are, as always, on the shiny side, because when they're dull and foggy, That kind of usually means you got a cold solder joint. Beautiful. And I love those tweezers. They definitely hold stuff. Now we can bring this one over, and will it reach like that? Perfectly will reach. So then we're going to go through and just tin all these. And the great thing is you can even jumper power off of the middle segment that's not being used. And I could tin that because that is eventually going to get power, but that way I know it'll give me a symbolism saying, oh no, you don't want to touch there, because did we tin these? Yeah. Do this negative first because it's the stretch.
So when we originally only had these two pieces of diffusion, you can make a lot just have to put it toward the light. Your tolerances for this diffusion was so good that adding a coat of paint very, very good. Yeah, it is.
Beautiful. Grab the red and we'll get you down there. Bada boom, bada bing. I'll keep on trucking. But I think we'll save on wire because we'll have some short runs too. Get these all nice. That thing just makes it so much easier to... I need to get one of those helping hand things that really hold two things together, like hold two things at the same time, so you can actually hold them together. We got positive on positive. Always keep checking. Like I said, it should look the same because we're kind of doing it in the same way. And then I got extra wire here so we can cut. Problem being right-handed and my soldering gun station is on the left side. It's just always a pain in the butt. Because we got to kind of cross streams here. I could use some more water on that too. This one won't jump over. Like I said, I'll tack those there. And same here, I'll tack it up high. We can do that. And man, that works so good. I'm so glad I got those. Here's the other. I don't have enough space up here to have like things out of the way. There we go. I mean, I guess I could still cut it across one of these. Just scoring it. And go in between the wires and tip one over so they don't grab this both at the same time. Easier to do like that.
This is the beginning of a long-running, long-term project. I think that by the next time we shoot a video for this, we'll have our board.
Always give your solder joints a tug too. Make sure they're good and smooth. I might have to turn that a little up because it's being finicky as far as I want to really melt. It should really like melt like instantly quick. The LED strips are very finicky on how long heat is on them because they can send that heat up and start loosening stuff up. Alright, there we got a loop. We'll come in this way, come through, because power will travel either way on these. And we can even do a little test. 9 volts. There we go. Those 3 strips are working good. If you're doing this a lot, get yourself one of these DC power supplies instead of always having to mess with a little battery or something. I got this one on eBay for really cheap. But then I didn't like the parts that came with it, the probes. So I went and brought a probe kit that gives me these, but then it attaches all these little tools attached to it. I can attach. This will slide over to the probe ends, and then you have these little squeezy things that grab the wires or grab onto things like that. It also gives you another jumper, so I don't know if you can jump other ones to it or something. I have no idea, but you got those. You got these. It gives you the BNC or banana, I should say, connectors that slide over those things, and you can pop in these alligator clips. You can pop in, if you have like a binding post, you can pop those on. What other tool would I have on here? And then it gives me a bunch of extra needle types to screw in there. I got gold ones, I got thick ones, skinny ones. It gives me all that good stuff. Those I don't remember what that is. But yeah, those, it's really cool. And it came with all that for a really, really decent price. But sure beats having to find a battery or stuff like that. And especially having to find different batteries, I can just adjust what I want. So let's keep trucking. We're almost there. We only got these other 2 to loop in. This will be the end. So this one we're going to loop over this way, and this one we're going to loop over that way, and that's the end of the road there for that. Yep. And like, okay. I switched mics on this camera, so I hope this mic's working better. The other one didn't seem to really pick up very well. It's almost like I was too close, or never talking right at it. But, and either another new segment came on TV, or that just got magically louder. I don't get it. Like I said, we don't want too much wire, so it's easier to tin them and cut them, because then the solder gives them some stiffness. So get you over here. Oh yeah, perfect. And one thing about this door, it never stays closed. Jump you over there. Leave some extra. But I hope I have enough for the bottom. I mean, I got plenty of different wires, and magnet wire just does not. So you're going to want to be like that. I'll probably just super glue you right there. Set it down like that, because I don't, with the blocking in there and stuff, I don't want a bunch of holes going through there as well. Again, we'll just use ship, or should I say the model, the space station. This is actually my first space station build here. I do want to get, I would like to get the K7, but I heard that's a nightmare as far as the fitting and all that kind of stuff, so but I'm up for a challenge to try to make it work. It sounds like fun to me, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody build it yet, so but I think I was watching an episode of Aztec Dummy with Lou, and he was saying that, yeah, it can be tricky. Did I do the right? Alright, okay. Make sure I'm doing stuff right. No, actually, you can just hold that down like that, and it wants to stay. Beautiful. Give it a tug. Very good. Grab a hold of this negative. And of course, they always want to bend up, and I need them to bend down. This one might be a little bit of a stretch. It's making it. It's fine. There we go. Yeah, I'm glad I heated up that gun just a hair more, because it wasn't. It might be time for a new tip. It's one of my better investments. So one more jumper, I think. And that's what we got here. Or already because I was testing. So we can just use that. It doesn't have a lot of wire stripped, but I bet you as soon as I heat that up, some of that insulation will drop back. And it did. And gave me the perfect amount of wire showing. Beautiful. So positive this way. Yeah, because that's how it's supposed to work. I only have to just touch, and bam, that solder's hot and done. Then that heat's there and gone. Is this the last one? Yeah, because this is the beginning. So it doesn't need to loop back to it. It should go boom, 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 and boom. And that's the end. And I'll figure out how I'll feed the... This one is the... I think it's A, B, C, and D are the bottom ones. So... Then I'll figure out how to feed all the other lights. I can either jump one right off of here and come up and go up to the top to feed these lights here. Or actually, yeah, because there's going to be no lights on here. Everything's going to be here. And the same with the other side. Except for what I got to do for this. But this is the D, and I think this goes on the A, but so I gotta be mindful of that. But yeah, I can just have something come up like that. I'll decide that when the time comes. But I'm trying to pre-think ahead how I want to do it. But since the power is going to come up and it's kind of coming in these holes, I'm thinking of hitting one, you know, loop, 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 loop. And just stick a wire out to that, and then from here, or from this one, I can run up to the other lights and then do that loop. I think that's the best way to do it. Now all we got to do is solder this guy down and we're good. Did I already cut the slot in it? No, I did not. Or split these apart. There we go, I think. Enough. Barely. Enough. There we go. It's actually standing pretty good on its own, and I can put that there. I still wish they'd make a solder base that's a little heavier. Sometimes that wants to slide away on me. I gotta hook myself up some better power here too. Alright, so I don't know if that's gonna be enough for the other side. I doubt it. But the other dish. But good enough. One dish at a time here. I need more water on my sponge here too. Let's see if we can get this one to grab just by. Beautiful. And beautiful. And that's the end of the road. Let's do a light test before we fasten everything down. We're going to start here. Of course, I have the probes backwards. And there we go. And of course, my hands are in the way, so I apologize. I'm just getting loose. What's this one? Now I'm getting loose too. There we go. Let's see if I can do this and you can see. There you go. It's flashing because I think they put a little bit of a coating on these pads, the soldering points. But that'll look good. And the nice thing about these warm lights, the LEDs are not overly warm. You know, they're not like so yellow that it's almost ridiculous. And there we go. That's our lighting, and then we'll just stick fiber optics from the outside in. I'll give them just a hair of a mushroom, and that's where you take a lighter to the end of the fiber and you just boop, boop, and then slide them in, glued in with just a little stub sticking out here, and that should pick it up if everything all works correctly. But now we can go. Let's use some of the thick super glue because I'm always using the medium and thin, and that's what I need the most. The stick will kind of hold them, tack them down a little better too. We'll start here and we'll try to lay them flat too. I don't know, I should probably get some accelerator ready. You don't need much. I'm thinking the more I hold it down, the better. Beautiful. I should put a dab first, maybe. Sometimes the accelerator just only hits the outside. Ooh, but there's my finger. There we go. Oh, my finger part of the model kit. There we go. Oh. So that's that. That's our interior wiring. So it's just going to be the same on the other one. You know, and then, like I said, whether this is the one that goes downwards, upwards. So I will stop here. We're going to do the same on the other side, but we'll come back when I figure out what I want to do here. I want to get this trucking, and like I said, I think from here, from this last one, we'll jump up to the lights up top. If this is the bottom one, I don't, or which one this is, because if you can see, they're labeled A, B, C, and D, so I think it's A, B, and then C and D. Yeah, because this other middle center one is B, so that would make sense as C. So it's A, B, C, and then D will be on the bottom. So this particular one will get the red lights going in there. So we just got to, this particular one, we just got to do the blue. It will be a B. It'll be B. This guy will get the jumper that goes up to the other half. So perfect. Like I said, we'll end this here. I'll figure out a few more things. We'll come back and we'll get these blue lights going. But till then, thanks for watching.